Today on the Dillon T cooking channel, I'm going to teach you how to make your own homemade Mountain Dew. First, you need water. About half a cup. Perfect. Let's check the temperature because it has to be just right. It should be about 45 degrees. Perfect. Now it's time you freeze the water. First, you put some of this margarita salt in. And then you put a hint of sweet lime juice from Roses. This is the best stuff and it's cheap. You can get it anywhere. I already mixed this up for you because it takes a while to freeze. So I'll just pull it out. And it should be completely frozen. When you're done, it shouldn't really have a color. It should just look white. And freezing. Freezing is when it changes from a liquid to a solid. As you can tell, this is pretty solid. Now, after you let it cold, you let it freeze and it should be this brownish color. So you take some hot water from the sink is fine. You're going to take that and mix it with this cold water that just unfroze. You mix it, and that's called thermal equilibrium. When the two, eventually the two will even out in the middle. So the hot and the cold will even out in the middle, and that's just where you want it. And it should be about 60 something degrees. Let's check it with the thermometer. Yep, perfect. Now, once it evened out from the thermal equilibrium, you want to go over to here, follow me. You're just going to leave it out in the sun because you want the radiation to get it to warm it up naturally, and that the radiation is from the waves from the sun, and it's going to hit this and it's going to warm it up to a nice temperature about 75 degrees. That's the perfect temperature. So after you bring this in, it should be nice and hot. Take a little bit from a boiling water. You want to boil this water in the kettle or something. You're just going to put it in here, like a centimeter of water. Put it in here, nice and smooth. The hot water from this glass will go into here, which is heat. And the heat is the energy transfer from one material to another. And as you can see, I poured this into this kettle and it's just starting to boil. Now, as you can see from this water vapor, this is evaporation. This is kind of evaporation, I'm trying to show you it. And evaporation is when a liquid turns into a gas. As you can see, this water vapor is going in. On the surface, as you can see, if you look inside here, try to do this for you, it's bubbling. That is what we call boiling water. Boiling is when the liquid changes into a gas, but underneath the surface, so it bubbles up to create bubbles. With the boiling water, as you can see, is convection inside. That's when the currents in the fluid rise from the top, the warm water on the bottom goes to the top, and the cold water goes down, so it's a cycle until it reaches the same temperature, and then it keeps going and going and going. I have this glass of ice for later when you pour it in, but as you can see on the side, condensation is occurring, and that's when the liquid changes into a gas. As you can see, metal is a good conductor because from the flame below, it lets the metal heat up, and then it lets it transfer through to the water. So that's why it's a good conductor. Okay, this is important, conduction. If you ever touch metal, you realize, it's really hot. That's conduction. The transfer of direct contact, heat from another. By direct contact, when I touch the metal, that's what happens. It burns. If you don't want to get hurt, use insulators. Oven mitts are great insulators. So when you touch a hot object like this, which is really hot from the metal, then you don't burn yourself because it delays the reaction of the heat. Now, let's pour this in. This is our Mountain Dew mixture, by the way. Pour it in with the ice. All in there. Right to the top. Oh, yeah. Look at this. As you can see, condensation is occurring again. And once it reaches this, thermal equilibrium's occurring again, if you haven't noticed, because the coldness of the ice is trying to match the warmness of the water. And now it's not boiling. I feel cold. So it worked. Final touches. This is how you get the color. Let's go in here. Take some yellow food color. You don't want too much. You just want it tiny bit. Doesn't taste, just changes color. Just drop it in. At first it looks orangey red, but then after a while it'll diffuse through the water and it makes it yellow. Okay, as you can see, I used a tiny bit too much because it's too yellow, but after you do this, it's warmed up. Go.
Go.
You take the food coloring, stir it up a tiny bit. You take this is what makes it bubbly. Take this, it has special stuff in it, you can buy it at any store, they're only like $2. You put it in, tiny bit. Final touches, after you stir it up, the food coloring, take a tiny, like a pinch of sugar, you just go around, back, mix it up again, put it in the fridge, next thing you know, you'll taste it and it'll be fizzy. Mmm. Mmm. Delicious. And that's how you make Mountain Dew with me, your chef, Dillon T.